Welcome everyone to the October general meeting. If you have not already signed into the chat, please be sure that you do so. We need your name and your agency so that we can track attendance. For fun, while we were kind of waiting, was having people put in something that they like about Halloween, their favorite thing about Halloween. If you want to do that, fine. If not, that's okay. As always, if you have the ability, we would like it if you would turn your cameras on so that we can see your beautiful faces this morning. Today, our annual meeting is the TCHC update. We're going to talk about what we've done, what we're working on, and what to look forward to in 2022. So first off, we're going to start with Lauren King, who is the Executive Director of TCHC. So Lauren.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. It's good to see you all. For those of you who don't know, we actually have a huddle. It's called a homeless huddle every other week. And a lot of your leadership attends, but it's not very often that I get to see all of you. So I'm excited to be here with you and excited to update you on things that are going on in our system. And I know you'll hear from all of our directors here at the Homeless Coalition, but excited to be with you today. Okay, so as I'm sure you all know, we have lots and lots of things happening in the continuum. A pretty significant thing that we have going on that you'll hear more about is that next year in 2022, we are going to launch into essentially a year-long housing challenge. So you all may be familiar, hopefully you're familiar with our challenges that we've done in the past. So in 2018, we did a challenge to house 100 veterans in 100 days. And our community housed 181. In 2019, we did a youth challenge, and that our goal there was to house 50 youth in 100 days. And we hit, I want to say 65 was the number on that one. And so in 2022, we're going to take it to a new level, and we're going to try a year-long challenge. So are you ready? You can write this down. I have some other things for you to write down, but our big goal, our bold goal, I would say in 2022 is to house 2,200 households. So we are going to try to house 2,200 households in 2022. If we do that, we will serve almost everyone who experiences homelessness. So it's a big goal. It's housing more households than we have housed in the past. So if we are successful at 2,200 households, we will house 182 households a month. That is throughout our system, right? So that is diversions, rapid exit, rapid rehousing, permanent supportive housing. So it's a lot of things coming together on all spectrums of people experiencing homelessness. So whether it's a somewhat light intervention or more permanent intervention, that's the whole spectrum. Also, if you'll have questions for me, feel free to just jump in and drop them in the chat, and I'll respond to those questions. So you may be wondering, okay, how are we going to get there, Lauren? So to give you an idea, right now, our system houses between 120 households a month and 150 households a month. So clearly going to 183 is a jump. It's something that's going to take a lot of work. Hopefully you guys are not feeling like, oh my gosh, you're already asking us to do a lot. We are making a lot of changes to try to get there. So something I've talked a lot about with your leadership is that really looking at our system, and instead of asking clients to work around barriers, how do we just remove barriers? How do we make it easy for clients to move throughout our system if they need a different intervention or something like that, where we can serve them with the most appropriate intervention? How do we make it easy for them to do that? So a number of things that are going to happen and that have happened is with this challenge and with this move to this, we are looking to move from right now, or in the past, we have done kind of the housing that's available. So whatever housing was available, that's what how we house people. So for those of you who are rapid rehousing case managers, you probably know, right? You've gotten some maybe clients that are in households that have been more difficult to serve or considered harder to serve because they're more acute than your typical clients are. We moved to the idea that we were working on housing everyone. We began to use rapid rehousing as transfer housing. And so just getting people off the street is our priority. And I do think that should still be our priority. However, when we make this shift and really move to the most appropriate housing, part of that that's going to happen is that we are implementing a new housing assessment. Anthony, hopefully I'm not stealing all your things you're going to talk about, but that's the benefit of going first, I guess. So we're implementing a new housing assessment. So can I see a show of hands who has either been involved in that conversation or is testing, if anyone is? I don't see anyone right now. Hold on, let me switch over here. Okay, so I don't see anyone who is. So just as an FYI, we are launching a new housing assessment. Oh, Bethany Bryan is. Hey, Bethany, thanks for that. So the housing assessment will replace the VI SPIDAT. Might come as a bit of a surprise, a shock. We've had the VI SPIDAT for probably 10 or 12 years. I know when I was at Catholic Charities working in homeless programs there, in the beginning of Directions Home, that's when we implemented the VI SPIDAT. So it's been with us for quite a while. And so moving away from that, we recognize as a huge change. So along with implementing this new housing assessment, comes a lot of training. So Shannon, you'll be hearing from Shannon and Jenny quite a lot, because that we will have to train a lot on how to appropriately use the housing assessment, how to ask those questions. I would say the reason we're making this change is because even though the VI SPIDAT shows us vulnerability, it does not show us what type of housing people need. So it might give us a vulnerability score, but we've kind of discovered in looking at the data and looking at different cases, hearing from you all, that the VI SPIDAT doesn't necessarily capture what type of housing people need. And it doesn't fully capture just the way it works. And you all may be thinking, yes, okay, great, I'm glad we're doing this. It just doesn't fully capture kind of what a person may need, what their, not necessarily what their vulnerabilities are, but yeah, we just feel like there could be a better tool. So we're moving to this new housing assessment. That's one, I would say, barrier or something we're changing to make our system more streamlined. The next thing is that we're also moving to a common housing application. So for those of you who run housing programs, you may have your own housing application. Clients have to fill those out to be accepted into your program. So instead of everyone having their own housing application, we are now moving to a common housing application. So if you have recently gone to college, or if you have a child who is going to college, think common college application. So this common housing application, you should be able to fill that out or help clients fill that out. And it is the application for every housing program in our continuum. As a program, you can have addendums. I think back to when, like I'll mention, Catholic Charities had, client consent, rights and responsibilities, those types of paperwork we need on the back end. But as far as being accepted into your program, this common housing application should do it. It should not be a barrier. That is something that we heard from people, that the paperwork on the front end was a barrier. And so moving to something simple that meets ESG and COC guidelines is what we're going to. So moving to common housing application, new housing assessment. So lots of changes. In addition to that, as part of our system reset and getting prepared and really moving our system so that we can achieve our goal of housing 2,200 households in 2022, we are going to start putting metrics out each month about each agency. So your leadership will receive information on different performance metrics that they've agreed on. So for shelters and outreach teams, it's things like number of contacts, number of assessments, number of diversions. So diversion is something that our system needs to strengthen. We have a few partners who do it really well. However, it should be something that everyone in our continuum is doing. Our question should always be, how can I end your homelessness tonight? And that may seem impossible for some, I get it. But really looking at how do I divert, that will be the key to one of the keys to our system's success. So looking at diversion, I know Shannon, Jenny, and a number of our staff have been out and training people on diversions, but so we'll have a number of diversions because that's really important to make sure our system's functioning well. And then of course, the number of people who are exited to permanent destinations. So permanent housing, just permanent destinations. That's on the shelter and outreach side. On the housing side, TCHC also has some metrics. I'll tell you about those as well. But on the housing side of things, we are going to be looking at capacity versus occupancy. So I'll come back to that one. So capacity versus occupancy. time it takes from housing match to lease up. So we're wanting to lower that amount of time. So how quickly do programs get people housed and into physical units? And I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting. Those two are the major ones. I'll go back to capacity versus occupancy real quick. So behind that, we often get, and you know you all do too, but get kind of stuck in this. Are we using all of our resources that we have to the fullest ability? So, and also, can we advocate on behalf of the system, the Homeless Coalition, for more resources if we're not fully utilizing what we have? So if we're not fully utilizing what we have, why are elected officials and funders going to say, yeah, sure, we'll give you more money for housing. Yeah, sure, we'll give you more money for this, when in reality, we're not even using what we have. So capacity versus occupancy really is starting to look at that to say, okay, is every program we have 100% utilized? We kind of discovered that we knew it on the Homeless Coalition side, and you all may know it as housing programs, but we rely on you to tell us how many openings you have. So if you say, okay, I can take 2 new households, but in reality, you have 5 openings. For us as the Homeless Coalition, it looks like we're not giving you enough referrals when we're relying on you to tell us how many you need. So that will change, and really being able to look at what is the actual capacity of this program and is it being utilized to 100%. So that'll be a change for us. I will say, you know, I've had a number of leaders of your organization say, we recognize that this will probably cause our organization and our system some heartburn when we first start to look at these. But it's also as a system, you know, we don't know what we don't know, right? So if we aren't measuring these things and tracking them, then we're not going to be able to improve upon them. I think too, from the Homeless Coalition side, I would ask that you all communicate with us on what you need. So how can we help you be successful? So are there other barriers we're working, you know, we can help remove for you? Are there things that don't work? A lot of times for us as the Homeless Coalition, we put systems in place, and in theory they work and they look good and they should work. But we're also not out there providing services. So if we put a system in place and it's not working, then we need that feedback. We wouldn't know because we're not necessarily providing that service. And so having that constant feedback loop of like, hey, this is a challenge, or could this work in a better way, is really, really important. So I'd encourage y'all to get in touch with me or any of the staff here at the Homeless Coalition and let us know what's working well and what's not. The other thing, what's the other thing I was going to tell you all? Metrics, challenge. A couple of dates that I want to make sure that you know and that you have on your calendar. December 19th, no, 17th. Hold on. Sorry, let me make sure I have this right, because just to make sure, December 17th. So you would have been here on Sunday and you would not have liked that. December 17th is our annual awards luncheon. And we will have nomination information out soon for awards. So please mark your calendars to come to that. We're working hard to get that fully paid for so that you all do not have to pay for that. Bit ironic, not ironic, or not ironic's not the right word, but in the past, we've had this annual awards luncheon for you all, and we have also asked you to pay to come. So it's an appreciation luncheon for you all. And so we're working hard to get that paid for so that you all can just come have fun, be recognized, socialize with peers. I know it's a bit like, you know, back and forth with COVID and that sort of thing, but we're going for it because we appreciate what you all do. We absolutely could not do our work without you. So keep that in mind. So December 17th, we'll send a save the date out for that soon, and we'll have nomination information soon about case manager of the year, volunteer of the year, landlord of the year, that sort of thing. The other date is December 21st. So that is our homeless memorial. We are having that at Union Gospel Mission in their chapel. December 21st is the longest night of the year. And so that is a time where we remember people who have passed away over the past year, either living on street or on shelter, or being cared for in one of our housing programs. So keep those two things in mind. The other kind of good news I want to say, and things that I just want to say to you all, is that we've made a lot of shifts in our system, and you all probably, I'm sure, have felt it. We've moved away from some different things, and I think that's why our community is being successful. 6 of the Homeless Coalition staff, we went to a conference last week, the National Data Conference, with all of these other COCs across the US. And it's hard to remember sometimes here but our system and our community is actually really far ahead. So the way that we collaborate, the way that coordinated entry works, the way that programs work together, the way that we're really committed as a whole to ending homelessness is light years ahead of some communities. And so just wanted to say thank you for that. And then also show you all one thing real quick regarding the number of households who are experiencing homelessness. It may seem, when you hear, okay, we're going to house 2,200 households, and in 2022, like, is it possible? Is it not? What does that look like, and why is that possible? So let me share my screen with you all. Oh, Jenny, can you give me share screen privileges? I would say a few years ago, the idea that we could house everyone who experienced homelessness was not possible, I would say. Or we would think, well, that feels far away, that feels hard, and I'm not going to say it will be easy by any means, but it's so much closer than we realize. So I'll show you this graph and then also tell you a little bit about what we're advocating for at the funding level to make happen as well. So let me share this with you.
You can share, Lauren.
Okay, so you can see wrangling resources. This is in our presentation, and just looking at different ways. We have all kinds of different maps that we try to show. So here's our housing pyramid. We have all kinds of different iterations of how to show different things. And so if you have feedback about this, we back here in 2018, we were at 2,303 households. We had a steep decline before the pandemic, so just keep that in mind. This is actually where we started to implement rapid exit and had started focusing on diversion. So steep decline here, which is really good. Again, before the pandemic. And now here we are at 1,287. So 2,303 to 1,287. We've essentially cut the number of homeless households that experience homelessness each month in half, which is pretty incredible. So I think it's a testament to how well our system works. As I mentioned, the kind of interventions on the lighter side and not having that, not focusing just on rapid rehousing and PSH. The other thing to keep in mind is when I say we have 1,287 households who are experiencing homelessness, almost 600 of those have housing matches. So it's not that we need housing interventions for 1,287. Almost 600 of those have matches. So we need about 700 interventions left. So to say that, one of the things that we're advocating for, so you all know if you hear about this, is capital. So right now, and you all, I'm sure, are feeling this as housing case managers and shelter case managers, our biggest need in the system right now is physical units. People cannot find places for people to live. So even though we have this abundance of housing resources, we could match almost everyone with a housing intervention, we cannot find places for people to live. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are the one who are doing it, but just so you know, we recognize that physical units are our biggest issue. So doing that, we are advocating to use quite a bit of ARPA money. So that's the latest Relief Act. CARES was the first one related to COVID. ARPA was the second one. We are advocating to use that money for physical units, for housing, to have our partners build housing, to have you acquire and rehab, do additional Esperanzas, that sort of thing, and get just create places for people to have a place to call home. I think that's what I'll end with. I took 20 minutes. Sorry, Shannon. Shannon told me 10 minutes. Sorry. Got carried away. I wanted to talk about stuff.
All right, Lord,
I don't
we
know.
expected.
Do what? Jenny, I don't know
So
who
we
I'm turning it over to now.
That's okay. Lauren, there was a question back kind of right after you first started. Somebody was asking, and I don't remember what the reference was. Does this mean there will be a growth in PSH programs?
Probably. We recognize that one of our goals is to, so with kind of all this movement in the system, we are, as a community, I would say close-ish to being able to end the chronic rule. So we recognize that there are people in our system who need PSH who have not been homeless for a year. And I know, I'm sure that you all could give me examples of who those clients are. We know that moving them into reprieve housing after 2 years, they just need extended support. And so one of our goals with this is actually to be able to, especially with the units we're asking to build and create, is to do PSH for non-chronics. So to have that ongoing support and case management for people who have been homeless for less than a year. So yes, I think it will be an expansion of PSH as we know it, and also PSH for non-chronics. So yeah, I think we'll see some change in our system there. Clearly our goal would be, if we are able to end chronic homelessness and take the chronic rule off of PSH, our goal as a system would be to never have someone who reaches that year in homelessness as far as the time that they're homeless.
Okay.
Other questions for me?
Thank you very much, Lauren. Are there any other questions for Lauren? I'm not seeing anything come into the chat. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're going to move on to Alex Dunn, Director of COC Planning. Alex, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to move you over to my camera screen so I can look at you and not look like I'm looking somewhere else all weird. Hey, everybody. My name's Alex. I'm the Director of Planning for Tarrant County Homeless Coalition. I am really excited to be here with you guys. We have been working really hard. One of my department's primary roles is the NOFA, and we are deep in NOFA competition right now to apply to HUD for the funding for our program. So that's what we're doing right now. The things that we've accomplished in 2021 are, I think, a lot around looking at what it would take for our system to house everybody experiencing homelessness quickly. My department has worked really closely with operations and with Lauren as we continue to look at what it would take to end homelessness. What are some of the types of projects that we don't have currently that could be beneficial for people experiencing homelessness in our area? Do we have enough money in our system for us to get there and do it? And so that's something major that we've worked on in the last year. Another major thing that we worked on in the last year was the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Project application for our continuum of care, which we were awarded this year. And so what that means is that in the next 12 months, we will make additional awards for youth-specific services in our system. And so we're really excited about that because it's a real opportunity for us to end youth homelessness. So for the next 6 months, our team will be working with the COC to develop a coordinated community plan that we have to submit to HUD about what kinds of projects we want to fund to end youth homelessness. And then run a competition for that. That's a little bit of last year and this year all rolled into one. The other major thing that we did in the last year that will be implemented next year, we do a lot of planning one year, implement the next year, as the term planning might indicate. So one of the things that we did is one of our roles is to measure performance across our system and then also look at performance for each of our funded programs. And so in the last year, we developed a scorecard that helps programs determine their performance on their programs themselves. And we developed that in our Green River system. That will be implemented in 2022, where we'll start sending programs their scorecard for their programs quarterly. And so we're really excited to provide that ongoing feedback to our programs. And the next year, what we're going to be working on is we'll be submitting our coordinated community plan for the YHDP grant. Again, that will be our plan to address youth homelessness as a continuum. And we'll be working closely with the Youth Committee and the Youth Action Board on that. We will, goodness willing, wrap up this NOFA competition and submit that. We will roll out some quarterly performance feedback for our programs as we go through. Jenny, was there something else I was supposed to cover?
Sorry about that. I forgot I was muted. Just go over what you've done, what you're working on, and what your plan is for next year.
Okay, I think I covered that. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Alex? Not seeing anything come up in the chat. So thank you, Alex. We appreciate your time, your information. Okay, just as a reminder, because I've seen several of you log on in the last 10 or 15 minutes, if you have not signed into the chat, you need to do that so that we can track attendance. If you would please put your name and your agency name in there for us. So next up, we're going to hear from Anthony Hogg, the Director of COC Operations. Anthony.
Hello. So I'll try to be real quick. I have a lot of stuff I can probably cover. So I'm over the HMIS program. My program manager is Bambi. Coordinating entry with the program manager being Nathan, for sure everyone knows who he is. Landlord engagement program, which is Kimberly, and our newest programs, outreach services, which also includes benefits services, and that's Rachel. So I think most of y'all probably know who they are, but that's all the different programs we have in operations. Some of the new items we looked at earlier this year, we established a data quality management plan. So you probably heard from Carmen, maybe Bambi over that, where we just sent out a quarterly review of all your data to see and offer the opportunity to fix any kind of issues that you're having with that. Lauren said earlier, we are replacing the VI SPDAT with the housing assessments. That's what was our big project this summer besides EHV. Right now we're in the testing phase and we're looking to hopefully make that shift in either late November, early December. There is we also just hired 3 new benefit specialists. One of them is going to be located at certain locations where True Worth and currently in Casa Esperanza and Quelchel for a little bit for those locations. And their job is to actually assist people essentially getting on Social Security or SSI or SSDI. And they can work with anyone that's literally or formerly homeless. So if they're in their PSH or rapid rehousing programs, they can work with your clients too. If you see that that's a gap in their ability to stay housing. We do have a referral form that we established, but we'll put out in our newsletter to explain how to send a referral. But there's a referral form in ETO that can be sent to that program. We also the release of information that we used to require is no longer required for clients when they enter in ETO. We created a new client privacy notice that does need to be posted. I think that's been sent out, but we'll state that again in our newsletter with the new client poster notice attached to it. Our landlord engagement program is expanding. Currently, we have 2 people in that program, but we expect to have another 2 over the next couple months. So it's not just housing is a major issue, and that's why we are trying to expand to focus on that. Also, we have funding from MHMR that's going to come through that's going to actually add housing navigators to the system. We're not going to be providing that service, but we subcontract that out. So DRC will be providing that. I think Salvation Army will be doing it for families, and City Square will be doing it for youth. So we are trying to expand that. We know that as a major issue right now. It's not just finding housing, but assisting people with housing. Or the housing programs are probably overwhelmed with all the vouchers you have going at one time. So we're trying to make it easier. we are looking to see if we can change landlord incentives to prevention dollars. Landlord incentives has not really been that effective. Most landlords seem to not want to take it. And so our choice now is probably look at doing prevention services to so we can directly work with clients, especially when Kimberly notices that they're about to be evicted, maybe directly work with them and say if we can prevent that from happening. And Ebony, we've been working on that program. I mentioned earlier the EHVs. EHVs has been very, very time consuming, and it's been it's pretty much ate up our summer besides the household assessment, but mostly it's EHVs. And most of you probably participated with that, whether you did move on or if you were if you work with clients on the front end when it comes to getting them into an EHV voucher. We work with 4 different PHAs, public housing authorities that have been Fort Worth Housing Solutions, Tarrant County, Arlington, and Grand Prairie. So you might have a client in all 4, depending on the client and where they're located. There's also going to be an update in ETO. This is from our outreach teams. In November, it's supposed to be mobile friendly. So you can use your phone essentially to do a case note or an outreach contact note, and hopefully drop the pin so you can get the location of the client. We do have maps in Green River that will show where clients are at. As you can see from their dashboard, you can see a client location. So hopefully that that feature becomes even more useful once ETO is mobile friendly and people could do notes wherever they're at. They don't have to wait to go back home to do notes. Sometimes that's what happens, and that throws off the data. That's it. I mean, Lauren stole all my thunder earlier, but she's not on camera right now, so she can't see her face.
I heard that. Don't worry.
She stole mine too, Anthony.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what she does. So we do. I mean, we have a lot going on. As like we always do. We change pretty rapidly, but we're trying to make the system as fast and collect. Oh, IDs. IDs is a big thing that we're actually focusing on just now. So you can connect with Rachel to find more details about that. But we do have like a direct connect with the what is it? DPS, Department of Safety, right? That's what does
Yes,
the IDs.
DPS.
DPS. So we can make appointments for people. If you can, and there's a list there's a cohort list in Green River, so you can add people to that, so we can make that hopefully a little more seamless. Looking into actually, I don't think I even talked to Lauren about this, but we'll see if we can pull this off. Looking to actually pay them up front, pay DPS up front, so we can give them like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 to, and so the client doesn't have to have money, and neither does a case manager have to go up there. We have to have a process where we'll send them a list of people that can be as eligible, or maybe use the scan card as a way to show that those are one of our clients and they can use that's assistance in there. I'm not sure if they'll allow us to do that. I heard another community when we were at that conference last week say they did that, and I thought it was or at least someone told me. I don't know if Nathan told me or, but that seemed like a pretty functional way to make it easier. We did do for our outreach teams and one shelter agency that we also have like credit cards that we give to them that's direct client service funds to make it easier for them to get people out of our system if they don't have the cash on hand, or if they don't have a company credit card themselves. Big organizations do struggle with that. Even our little organizations struggle with that just because it's hard to navigate their system. So I'm hoping we'll get some more of those out to them by the end of this month. That's the goal. I have to talk to Lauren about it in our one-on-one in about 30 minutes. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody had any questions for us.
Okay, are there any questions for Anthony? I'm not seeing anything. Anthony, do you want to quickly run over who people can contact for specific issues within your department?
Yes, if it's a simple like lost their password, there's a help ticket. We have an HMI's help ticket we did establish, which I didn't mention earlier. You can submit a help ticket. You could see on most of our staff's lines in their byline and their emails, they have that button. You can also go to our website and click on that. Carmen's the one who he'll do with that directly. We are hiring someone else that will probably take over that position, where Carmen will be focused just on data quality management. Also, if you have any other questions about HMIS, Bambi will be your direct connect for that. When it comes to recording entry, the overall questions would be Nathan, but Charlotte also works in that department, so she can probably answer questions for you. For landlord engagement, it'll be Kimberly. So if you have any questions about any landlords or trying to see what that's, if you're having issues with a client at a property, you can connect with Kimberly and see if she can provide that type of assistance for you. And for outreach services and for the benefit specialist and the IDs, it's Rachel. She'll be overseeing that program, and she's gonna be on the fatality committee. She agreed to do that today. So you have any questions, that's who you should connect with. And if you have any questions about them, email me.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. And just in case everybody is not aware, everybody's email address is their first name at ahomewithhope.org. So if you just caught the first name and weren't sure what the rest of the email address is, that's that. Okay, thank you, Anthony, for that information. Next, we are going to hear from Shannon Barnes. Shannon?
All right. Hello, everybody. All right. So what's going on in training? Well, I think the biggest thing that you guys probably notice is that we are starting to charge for training. This is helping us kind of keep people honest about their registration and showing up. So we charge those who don't attend, or at least give us a 24-hour cancellation notice. We also charge those folks who are not a COC member or a Homeless Coalition member. If you are a part of a member organization, or if you don't know if you're a part of a member organization, you can always contact Jenny, or you can go to our membership page on our website under the Systems Care tab, and you can see if your agency is listed there. If you are a part of a member agency, so Safe Haven, Salvation Army, ALS, MHMR, DRC, any of those agencies there, it is really important that you are using your agency email to register for our trainings. Do not use your personal emails, because what is happening is people are using their personal emails, they're not showing up, and then we're reaching out trying to figure out which agency you're with, and you're just not getting back to us. So please use your agency emails. That way we can bill agencies when you don't show up. If you start using your personal emails and we contact you in our emails, or our contacts go unheard, we will remove you from the training. Again, also, if you've missed training and you haven't paid your bill, which, I mean, come on, it's $5. But if you are unable to pay that $5, we will not allow you to sign up for any other trainings until you pay that past due tab or whatnot. Okay, so please make sure you're using your agency emails, and please make sure that you are paying your fees if you are not attending or don't cancel on time. Another thing that we've started doing is really tracking training numbers and attendees. So we're tracking numbers to really focus on what are these heavily attended trainings? Do we need to offer them more often? Are these things that we need to record and put online for people just to view as they need? We have a lot of turnover in our system, so some of these trainings are really, really important, but you come in right after we've done it and we don't do it for another 6 months, and it's something that you might need quickly. So we're tracking training numbers and attendance to kind of see what we need to do with those trainings. But not only that, we're tracking participants because sometimes people constantly register for a training and then they don't show up, right? So if you're one of those people that just constantly register for a training and you're not showing up, we'll probably put you on a wait list, because what happens is you're taking a spot from somebody who could really use it, and then they don't get attended training because you just didn't show up. Also, a lot of people ask us, hey, have I taken this training, or have I taken that training? So this will help us track what trainings you have taken, and we can help in that way, letting you know what training you took, when you took it, and everything like that. So another thing that we've done, as Lauren said, was this big COC-wide diversion push that we started in June. It has been super, super successful. And I want to say thank you to all of you guys involved. Because as I said in the trainings, if you've seen me or Jenny or any other member of TCHC out there training you, we told you guys that we would be monitoring diversion numbers, and they have increased. So that is such a great thing. Number one, we're using diversion properly. Not only that, we're preventing people from experiencing homelessness. So I think everybody who's done that, go ahead and give yourself a nice pat on the back, because that is just amazing. Something else that we've done is our training calendar. So we keep our trainings updated online on the website calendar. I'm not sure what tab that is, but we have an events calendar on our website. So Jenny does a really good job of putting all the upcoming trainings on there, and all the future trainings. So I think we try to stay out about 2 months ahead. So you can see what's coming up for that month and what we have coming up for next month. And not only that, you can register for our trainings there. I get a lot of emails, hey, Shan, how can I sign up for this training? You can sign up via our website on the training, on the events calendar, or you can sign up via our training newsletter. So just keep that in mind. So what are we currently working on? So the biggest thing I would say is the Leadership Academy for supervisors and managers. So traditionally, the Leadership Academy, the first 4 cohorts were just for new case managers to the area, or maybe new to the COC, or maybe just new case managers who are just fresh out of school, and this is their first job. That is what we focus the Leadership Academy on. But now we're going to focus it on the managers and supervisor level. So that will be cohort number 5. If you are interested in that cohort, you can email me. We are not looking to launch that until January. You can check back on our website probably next month, and we'll have some applications there and then some important dates for you all to see. I also wanted to let you guys know that we are currently working on revamping our newsletter. So Jenny does a great job putting that training newsletter together, but sometimes we just have so many trainings on there that you guys just can't get through them all. So we're trying to revamp that look, so it's better for you guys, better on your eyes, and it's just an easier, faster look than what we've kind of been using. And the same with boot camp. For those of you that have taken the boot camp training, it is pretty long and pretty taxing, especially if it's in person. So what we're looking to do is kind of revamp that boot camp, make it a little bit shorter, but still hit all the good points and all the information that you guys need from that particular training. And then the last thing that we're working on right now currently is a COC case manager onboarding training. So this is everything that you would want to know as a new case manager entering our COC. So for those of you that have been a while and forgot what it's like to be a new case manager, this training is going to help all those new folks kind of know, with everything that you wished you learned, wish somebody would have told you, wish you know now that you wish you had known back then. So that's everything that this training is going to cover. So our goals for 2022 in the training department is we want to create a training library. So what happens is a lot of times we have these trainings and then people miss them for whatever reason, and that's that. And they reach out to me and they're like, hey, are you going to do this again? Is there a recording? And it's probably a training that we don't do again and we haven't recorded it. So what we want to do is make sure that we can create a learning library for you all so that you guys can view past trainings that we've done, and just let them live there so you can see every training that we've done. It's going to be a recorded version, but at least you get the information and material if you were unable to make it. And then our biggest goal, I would say, is the different skill level training. So a lot of times when we offer a training, it's just a basic beginner level training. What we want to do is start offering different skill level training. So a beginning, an intermediate, and advanced level trainings for all the trainings that we provide. Again, we've been focusing on the beginner levels, but we want to try to expand that for different learning levels. And that's the same with the overall trainings that we provide. I feel like we provide a lot of trainings that focus really on frontline staff. And so what we really want to do is try to branch that out and also bring trainings that focus on managers and supervisors, and then that executive level leadership. So that is what the training department is looking forward to in 2022. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
I'm not seeing anything, Shannon. Tammy put in the chat that this training stuff is all great. So thank you, Tammy. We appreciate that.
We do appreciate it. And let me just say, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about training dates, times, registrations, training fees, general meeting, newsletter sign up, TCHC regular monthly trainings, Jenny is your go-to. Contact Jenny and she can give you all that wonderful information. All right.
All right. Thank you, Shannon. All right. So next, we're going to hear from Marty Lawrence, Director of Community Relations. Marty.
Jenny, thank you so much. I thought you might have forgotten me and I was not going to let that happen. Jenny, thank you so much for hosting these. These are such valuable opportunities. I want to thank everyone on this call today for all the amazing work that you're doing and let you know that you are making a tremendous difference in this community. The community relations team is part of that COC goal about engaging our community to be part of this work with us. The work you do every day is just amazing. It's inspiring and people want to help. And so we at the community relations team try to help connect folks who want to be part of ending homelessness in our community. And we do that through a couple of different vehicles. One of the things, and I hope a lot of you already know Audrey Klein. Audrey manages our Welcome Home Basket program. What this does is it allows people in the community who want to do something to help to contribute those items that we know folks need as they're transitioning into housing. And then we coordinate that on behalf of all of you on the call. If you are needing a Welcome Home Basket, then the contact for that is Audrey Klein. She handles the in-kind contributions and volunteers. And we are thrilled when people say they want to volunteer to help serve the needs in our community. And most often we just try to connect them directly to you all. And use that as our way to help support your efforts. Another thing that community relations is doing is helping to educate and engage our community through fun events like Bubbles and Bras, which a group of gals just like you, and gentlemen too, of course, got together about 12 years ago because they knew that folks, we weren't getting enough of basic items for our folks experiencing homelessness. And so now that event has evolved into a community event where people now bring bras and donate those for a glass of champagne. How much fun is that? Bubbles and Bras. It'll be this Thursday evening. All are welcome. There is no admission fee to come and be part of this event, and we'd love to see you there. It's going to be at the Sinclair downtown. It's a hotel on the rooftop. So for those of us who are worried about the masks, it'll be open air. And Kayla Mosley has just done an amazing job of creating and organizing this event on behalf of the coalition. She's not here today because she's out picking up auction items. There'll be fun auction items, and it'll be a fundraiser and to draw awareness to women experiencing homelessness. So again, you're all very, very welcome to be part of that with us. Engaging community to support the efforts of what is organized within the COC has been a passion of mine, and I'm thrilled to say that we have people reaching out, trying to plug in, and so we've created what we're calling the engaged community group, where we can try to listen to what's going on within the structure that we have, the system of care, and allow people who want to be part of this to connect in ways that help all of us move our efforts forward. And to that end, we have an amazing volunteer, not volunteer, she's an intern through the TCU social work program with us this season, working on Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Abby Goodman, we cannot thank you enough for collaborating with our colleagues at the Tarrant Area Food Bank and local universities to help keep people talking about and understanding that the first step to us really addressing the issue of homelessness is helping people understand more about what's really going on and how they can be involved. So on that note, I would thank you again for all that you all are doing and ask you, should you need any support, feel free to contact me at any time. My name is Marty Lawrence. I'm with the community relations team. A lot of my time is spent working with neighborhoods, trying to help understand what they're experiencing and how we can be part of helping to work together with them to make sure everyone has a place to call home. And I will end with one of my favorite quotes. And it's from Helen Keller, and it's that alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much. And that's what I love about General Meeting, is that when you all come together, I see great things happening. So thank you so much for being part of the Homeless Coalition.
Thank you very much, Marty. Does anybody have any questions for Marty? Somebody asked in the chat, where is Bubbles and Bras? And Shannon put in there that it's at the Sinclair Hotel downtown with the address. So if anybody needs that, that is in the chat for you. Any other questions relating to community relations for Miss Marty? Okay. Our last director is also our newest director, and so we want to welcome her and hear what she has to tell us this morning. Her name is Deborah Johnson, and she is the Director of Administration. Deborah.
Good morning, everyone. As Jenny said, I am the newest member to the organization. I'm looking forward to meeting.
No, that's not. I think that's a.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I look forward to meeting and working with everyone. I'm not going to say that Jenny saved the best for last. I will say she saved the shortest for last. Again, I've been maybe 3 weeks in, and I work primarily behind the scenes. I do everything accounting and finance. So if I can ever help you or assist you in any way that is in my wheelhouse, please feel free to reach out, and I will do any and everything I can do to resolve whatever your issues are. And any questions for me, even though I'm 3 weeks in and don't know very much?
That's okay. Thank you, Deborah. I'm not seeing anything come into the chat. So thank you for that. So that is all the information from our directors. But before we go, we do have a couple of announcements. I believe Nathan has an announcement for us. Nathan, I saw you and then you disappeared. Are you still on?
I'm here if you can hear me.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Yeah, thanks everybody. Just want to remind everybody two things. First, that we'll be starting to do case conferencing in person. So no more Zoom case conferencings by the middle of November, to be exact, November 17th. So we'll have 2 more virtual case conferencings, and then we'll start in person on the 17th at the office. Look forward to seeing you all in person, and hopefully we can collaborate and make case conferencing a little more interactive than our Zoom screens. Second thing, EHV vouchers, please remember to check the note column in the EHV cohort lists. Our PHAs are really struggling getting folks that they've scheduled to come in for an intake to actually show up for the intake. I think they've, 4,000 Solutions to schedule 10 or 11 folks, and only 4 of those folks actually showed up. So if you're not getting notifications about voucher briefings for your clients from the Housing Authority, please let us know. Please reach out to the Housing Authority to let them know. They should be notifying you as well as the client about your voucher briefing date. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nathan. And we also have an announcement from Rachel about the IDs. Rachel, are you still on? There you are.
Yes, I am. So Anthony went over the IDs a little bit, but just to kind of give a little bit more information. Currently, we have two different things we've coordinated with DPS. So one is to expedite the appointments for people who already have all of the documents that they need to get their IDs and just need a little bit of a faster appointment than they can get trying to get it on their own. And then the second thing is that they have agreed to review clients for us who have had an ID in the last 10 years to see what documents they have on file for those who may be missing something. So there is a process that Nathan's going to send out to everyone from case conferencing. It's a cohort that we have in the warehouse. So you can review that document. And then if you have any further questions, then you can message me about it, email me about it, and I'll let you know how we can, I can walk you through the process or whatever we need to do to get you guys hooked up with that, because we know that IDs are a huge barrier for a lot of our clients getting into housing. So we want to work that out as best as we can.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. And again, if anybody has any questions about IDs or anything, Rachel's email is rachel@ahomewithhope.org, and you can shoot her an email.